Hello everyone, today we're here to discuss Kelby and her IEP. Let's get started with introductions. My name is Marissa. I am the special education teacher. This is the principal and the assistant principal. These are her two general education teachers. So this teacher teaches reading and social studies, and this teacher teaches math and science, and then both mom and dad are here. So just real quick, I want to go over the address and background information for Kelby to make sure that everything is still correct. I'm showing that she lives at this address. Is that still correct? Okay. I have this for contact information. Is that still correct? Okay. So we're just going to kind of go over some test results for Kelby and look through things. It says here that the biggest concern is in reading and writing. And so we're just going to kind of go through those things and see where she's at compared to her peers. And then we'll make a plan to help her through those things. Are there any questions? Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to go over is her background information. Kelby just finished 3rd grade at Sullivan Elementary School in Ulysses, and she's going to proceed to 4th grade at Stanton County Elementary School in the fall. She's currently 10 years old and 1 month. She lives at home with her adoptive parents and 3 siblings. She was held back in kindergarten, and she presents with reading and writing deficits right now. She does receive special education services and has an individualized education plan. So we're going to go over the informal assessments first. These were given without any accommodations or modifications to see how she just does on her own. And so we'll look at that and see what accommodations and modifications she may need or in-class support she may need for next year. Teachers report that she is a hard worker and she tries her best. Her strengths are that she is great in math and that she tries at every assignment that she's given. Something that I've personally noticed with Kelby is that she's really great at asking for help when she needs it. So she's good at doing that. So we're going to look. She was assessed in fluency, recalling important details, and writing capabilities. It says here that she struggles with fluency and reading aloud, but her comprehension skills are great. So that just means that when she's read the story aloud or when she can listen to the story, she can remember important details about the text. If a chapter was read to her, she was able to recall several details from one chapter. She also has some trouble writing, and so I believe that there's been a discussion of her possibly being dyslexic. Is that right? Okay. So, but no diagnosis yet. Okay. And then I see that she does wear glasses, but it's hard for her to consistently wear them. Okay, so at school, teachers, does she usually wear her glasses? Okay, great. And at home, she doesn't wear them. Okay, thank you. So it looks like on June 21st, she was able to read 20 words with 13 miscues. So that's just, she made an error 13 times. So that means she read it correctly 7 words out of 20. So that's 35% accuracy. On the same day, she was able to identify the main characters and that where the character lives and an important detail of the text. She was also asked to write responses to questions for the chapter. For the first question, she spelled 3 out of 5 words correctly. For the second question, she spelled 0 out of 2 words correctly. And for the last question, she spelled 1 out of 6 words correctly. When she was asked to read her responses out loud, she was able to correctly read those. So it looks like her deficits are mostly within reading and writing, but she does excel with comprehension. So the next thing I'd like to go over for Kelby is her norm referenced assessments. And give me just a second and I will get those pulled up for you. Okay, so now we're going to go over some of Kelby's scores, her standard scores, her percentile rank, and her grade equivalent. So this just shows us where Kelby is in comparison to her peers. On her norm reference testing, Kelby scored in the 5th percentile, which means that she's scoring in the bottom. She scored equal or better to 5% of students in her group. In other words, that means that 95% of students are scoring higher. So that puts her at high risk. With special education, we look, that cap is at the 10th percentile. And so if she was scoring above 10th percentile, we would kind of be keeping an eye on her. But since she's below, we're going to go ahead and continue her services. Kelby's grade equivalent score was 1.5. That means she's at about 1st grade level, and you'll see that more when we look at her CBMR results. So the scores tell us that she's currently performing at a level that is more associated with 1st grade students, and so we'll make goals appropriate to match her where she's at, and then we'll also put interventions and accommodations and modifications to help close the gap between where she's at and where she should be. So let's go ahead and move on. Okay, so right now we're going to go over Kelby's CBMR. She was tested with her peers at the 3rd grade level, and she scored a 13. So this puts her in the 1st percentile rank. That means 99% of students her age are scoring higher than her. And that's a national percentile. And then her local percentile is 7th. So that just means that 93% of the children in the district are at her level are scoring above her. So she is identified as high risk. So we're going to look at her progress monitoring with that. So because of her, where she scored with her 3rd grade passage, we progress monitor Kelby at a 1st grade level. And her scores are as follows. She has, she read 42 correct words per minute, 44 correct words per minute, 51, 45, 49, and then 52. So at the 1st grade level, by the end of the year, she should be reading 96 correct words per minute. So for Kelby, we're going to go over these goals for her. And her goal for reading is going to be to increase her score to that 96 correct words per minute when given a 1st grade passage. If Kelby meets this goal, then we will have another meeting to change her goal, and that is okay. It might be before the IEP is up. If she doesn't, then we will also have another. If she has 3 consecutive times of her dropping or not meeting the goal, if she has 3 consecutive times of her not increasing her score or improving her score, then we will also come back and reevaluate accommodations, modifications, and in-class support. So for Miss Kelby, we are going to keep her current accommodations of text read aloud, a scribe, and the ability to answer questions verbally for the next school year. Now, what this means is that next year, Kelby, if there's any time she needs help reading, she can have that text read aloud to her. If she needs help with writing, Kelby can verbally tell the para or the assistant what she would like to say, and then in times where we're testing her comprehension, she will have the ability to answer those questions verbally. She's going to continue to receive 30 minutes of pull-out service for reading to help her meet her fluency goals for next year and to help close that gap. So if a student is more than 2 grade levels behind, we like to go ahead and give them some extra resources and intervention time. She will continue to receive in-class support to help her with those accommodations of read aloud. And what we're looking at is 60 minutes for reading and then the 60 minutes for math. And I mentioned math just because Kelby can do math, but as she gets older, there's going to be a lot more word problems, so we want to make sure that she has the accommodations that she needs to help with those word problems. Anything on the computer is typically read to them, so she is able to get that assistance as well during the other intervention programs that the school has for her. Is there any questions regarding the goals for Kelby or any of the testing results we went over? Okay, so I just want to double check and go over those accommodations for her again. So the goal for Kelby is going to be, by the end of the IEP year, given a first grade passage to read 96 correct words per minute. She will receive 30 minutes of pull-out services for reading to help meet her goals. And then she will continue to receive in-class support and accommodations of text read aloud, a scribe, and the ability to answer questions verbally. Does that sound good to everyone? Okay, are there any questions? Okay, thank you all for coming. If you will hold on just a second, I will get signatures from everybody, and then I will get copies sent home. That way you guys can have a copy of the IEP, and the updated IEP will also go to her general education teachers and anybody else that needs to be made aware. Thank you guys for coming.